Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Inside Out Alignment, your platform for self-discovery and creativity. Your host, Mary Tapper. Another pleasure to be here with you today with our guest, Victoria Clark. She's the founder and CEO of Life Purpose Coach and InPower OnPurpose, an empowerment expert and co-author of the book Prosperity Factor with Joe Vitale. Victoria has spent like 12 years, over 12 years working as a massage therapist. And from there, she's learned amazing things. And she realized that without mindset, there was no lasting change. So she started looking into coaching, where she got many certifications, few certifications. And then she noticed that something was also missing from what she'd learned. And she came up with the body and energy in connection with mindset. So she created the Empower and Purpose on Purpose method to incorporate all three aspects to bring more effective results faster, easier, and long lasting. Victoria, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to have you on the set today. Thank you for accepting my invite. Thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you. It is an honor to be here. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you so much. So before we get to the juicy part, or let me say, sometimes we often, start live or we hear about certain things like, or some people believe like life just happens. But looking at what you have here and talking about life with a purpose, living your power, or some people feel like life just happens. We don't have any power to change anything. What would you say about that? Living in your power, in my power, in our power, recognizing that?
It's a really good question, and I do hear that a lot. But it's actually a difference in mindset. So the victim mindset will always be that things are happening to me and I can't stop it. I have no power. But when you can switch that and go, you know what? And it's not, some people I hear a lot, this blame of, let's blame the victim. And it's not that. I just want to start out being really clear with that. It's not that, but it is about the mindset of, okay, this happened. And let's be honest, it's horrible. But how am I going to react to it? How am I going to move with this, through this, in this, and beyond this? So when we reach that point of, I am fully responsible for how I react to the things, we can then reach the point where I am fully responsible to create my life however I want. I was there. I was an extreme victim. And I just thought, everything happens to me and this is the lot I was dealt in life. But once I was able to make that switch and go, no, I can react in a different way. I was able to open it up and say, okay, now that I know I can react, I know I can create, and I know I can become.
I love that. And the one thing that also like really stands out about what you just said is about taking responsibility. We cannot just sway around about anything that happens to us and be like, oh, it's happened, so that's just the way it is. It's what can you do about it, just like you said, and try to navigate and take certain actions, because there is always something that we can do. It's often said there is no problem without a solution. If there is a problem, then a solution should be somewhere. Yeah,
that's right.
So I love that.
It's actually, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So it's actually pure brain science, neuroscience. Our brain is designed to solve problems. When we learn that we can direct our brain to solve the problems we want it to solve, then we know we can create anything. And I'll give you an example just for clarity, if that's okay. And that example would be, okay, have you ever found the most perfect car, for instance, right? And you're like, oh, this is it. Nobody has this car, or nobody's pregnant, and nobody, I don't see this around me. And then all of a sudden you get that car, you are pregnant, and you notice all the other cars that are exactly the same, all the other pregnant people. And you're like, where were they before? It's brain science, because your brain wasn't focused there before. So it found other things to focus on. When you back it up and look at life creation, and you're focused in that mentality where all these things are happening to you and this is my lot in life, you're actually programming your brain to find more things that prove that.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
more experiences will happen because your brain wants to be right. So
Yeah.
instead you back it up and go, how can I overcome this? How can I do this? You're triggering your brain to start problem solving in the way you want to. In fact, I often use questions for affirmations. Instead of saying, I am a brilliant mathematician, which for the record, I'm not. And it's okay, it's not my talent. Your brain, your subconscious automatically fights that. You have all these messages, blah, 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 blah. No, you're not. No, you're not. Look at this. Look at this. But if you back and say, how can I be a brilliant mathematician? Your brain's going to be focused on finding the answers, not contradicting your statement.
I love that. And what you just said about, because where our attention goes, that's where energy actually flows. And when you
Exactly.
talk about, yeah, our brain, we're paying attention to something, or we're seeing something, and then we start finding them around, because our brain, the reticular activating system, it's that part of our brain that brings to our awareness whatever we are looking for, or whatever we are paying attention to. And that is really a good way of putting that to us. And you talk about, no, you work on this InPower on Purpose. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How did you come up with that, and how do they come in that synchronicity together? How do they match together?
Thank you. And I think what you're asking is, how does InPower and On Purpose come together, and how did I
Yes.
come up with it in the first place?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because
So
I really love it. I resonate with that.
thank you. Thank you. Actually, it was given to me. It just kind of came to me in a meditation after I started taking action and becoming a life coach. I didn't know what my specialty was. I just, okay, let me do this. And everyone had something different, because, when a lot of people want to give input, oh, you should focus on this. Oh, this is your specialty. And oh, this is your specialty. But when I really cleared my head and connected, it's really important for me in my life to connect to both my divinity and the earth. And that's how I feel I make a bridge bringing heaven to earth. So when I was doing my meditation and asking and doing a lot of writing on what is my specialty, where do I get to go with this, it became really clear that it was all about life purpose. What are your divine gifts? And then when I started asking more, I started receiving more. In order to find the divine gifts, you have to be really in your power place. So you have to feel that sense of empowerment. And then you can recognize, what are those gifts inside me that I exist in this lifetime to express? And they're beyond. We so often want to put everything in a box. So it's, when I work with people, the first step they usually go to is, well, my divine gift, what comes naturally to me is painting or singing or talking or counseling. It's always a thing. But I want to take it a step further and say, okay, what's behind that thing? What's behind that? So is it painting? Like, there's different aspects for different painters. For instance, one painter, it could be really, I really love the colors and how they merge together and create a healing. It really heals people when they can see that and express that. And another painter would say, you know what, I have this vision in my head, and I really wish the world could see the world as I do. It's more of a visionary aspect. Let's bring this vision to life. Two totally different divine gifts expressed in the same way through painting. So when I looked at that and I said, okay, in my meditations, it became really clear that it was about, yes, being in your power space, and then, yes, recognizing those gifts. And then that name was given to me, and that was why.
Thanks for sharing that with us. And I love that. And your work is more about mindset, body, and energy. So you have like these 3 steps, that for people to live that life with more joy, freedom, ease, and meaning. So can you tell us a little bit about those 3?
So what I realized when I was working as a massage therapist and energy healer was that people kept coming back with the same issues, the same exact thing. And what I realized was that there's always a mindset. There was always a specific emotion. And when I started really applying and looking at how can we change both the energy, the physiology, and the mindset, that's when I started bringing coaching in. It was just a flow that happened. In fact, a lot of my clients, when it was time to get on the table, would say, no, you know what? I just need more of this. Let's sit here and talk some more. Because it was so evident that the mindset, our brains, literally was in charge of all of that. So when we work on all 3 levels at once, that's how we get faster, easier, and longer lasting. Because we're actually switching. See, our memory in our mind is not just in our brain, it's actually throughout our body. So when you work on all 3 levels, it's going down to the cellular level to effectively change all of it.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 steps is different than those 3 aspects. The 3 steps are more of, I always start out with a vision. What's your vision for yourself? And not the way a lot of people think of it, but how do you want to feel? What are the experiences you want in your life? Because when we can start there without any specifics, it eliminates the hamster wheel we all get caught in at some point. Well, maybe I should go into holistic health. Maybe I should go into chiropractic. Maybe I should go into naturopath. Maybe I should go into, I don't know, I really love this and I really love that, but what do? I have all these interests, all these passions.
Mm-hmm.
We get down to the feeling and the vision, what is underneath. I take an approach of an inside out approach. So we get into that vision. How do you want to feel, and what are the experiences you want to have? The experience of freedom, the experience of money, the experience of joy, of feeling alive. We go there first. And then we take it down into the second step, which is about putting the pieces together. Okay, now from that place, what are the passions? What really makes you feel that? And it eliminates a lot of my purpose is dancing. My purpose is art, music. My purpose, I have all these passions and interests. It eliminates that because we can always go back to that step 1. What makes you feel this? And it automatically clears the way. A lot of that is also kind of releasing emotions, the limiting beliefs, and things of that nature that limit us,
Mm-hmm.
prevent us from moving forward. Part of that second step is also, as we're releasing that, it's changing the actual identity. So if I have an identity of, well, this is just who I am. I am this person who likes this, who does this, who earns this much, who lives this way. It's going to be really hard for us to break through to the next step to create something different. Change the inside first, which is that identity, and then you can move forward to the third step, which is taking action, taking inspired action.
I love that. I love that. And I know most of us have gone through maybe challenges in our lives, or we've, gone through some difficulties, or thinking that things were going to, also had surprises. Our surprises are not always the best. So, have you had any of that in your life that you would love to share with us today?
I've had a lot of that in my life. But there was this one time I was really depressed, and I was really just trying to struggle. I was really trying to fight. I saw this potential inside me, but I was afraid of it. I was afraid that if I created that, I would be something different. I just wanted to be normal. So I squashed that and tried to build a life that I wanted anyway. Well, let me tell you, it just didn't work. So at this one point, I had 3 jobs. I still was struggling to pay the bills. I remember I was so exhausted, and I thought I was just on purpose, and I wasn't understanding why things weren't coming easier to me. I'm listening, I'm taking action, I'm doing the things I'm thinking that I should do. At the same time, I remember I was still fighting that potential that I saw. So I really wasn't taking that action, right? So I lost one of my primary jobs, and then I lost my car. And I remember I came home one day and there was an eviction notice on my front door. And I just came home, sat on my living room floor. I remember the floor was really hard and it was cold. I didn't have the heat on, and I could hear the sounds outside, the cars driving by, the people talking and laughing. And I sat there and thought about my impending homelessness and contemplated suicide. And I just said out loud in that really desperate moment, I said, God, if there is a purpose for me, I obviously don't have it right now. I think I do, but I obviously don't. So please just show me a sign if there's a purpose for me. And almost immediately after I got those words out, I got a phone call. And it was my friend, and she says, Victoria, I can't sleep. I can't stop thinking about you. Are you okay? It was the middle of the night. I knew this was my sign. So I just said, I was just asking God if there was a purpose for my life to show me a sign, and then you called me. I was in shock, but I knew I had a purpose. So I just made a decision to find out what it was. So I set out and I read about 1 million books, and I hired coaches and counselors, went to workshops. Somewhere along the way, I heard a quote, and it said, the 2 most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. And I was like, yeah, you know what? That's it. That's totally it. Because then I had no energy. I was broke. I was struggling. I felt depleted in every way. My life was hard, hard, hard. And today, now that I actually did start listening and I'm living in my potential, life is easier. I have a joy and a freedom that I never thought possible. I have a ton of energy, and I love life. I'm living in my potential rather than being afraid of it and wondering even if it's real, thinking I'm crazy for even thinking that I have this potential. I'm living in it, and it's so, like I said, it's just a joy and a freedom that I never thought possible. So that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anyone to have to experience that. And I've been there, and I can help others as I helped myself along this journey.
I love that. And It's often said the world needs people who have come alive. And when you are living your purpose, you become alive because you express, that energy, and whatever you do, those who are in your world, they feel it. They see the difference. They're
Right.
inspired. And it's a beauty to see, you telling us and really expressing. I feel the energy, I feel the emotions when you share everything about, what you went through, and letting people understand that sometimes it is okay to go through things like that, but there is also, it's not like it's the end of the world. It They say, spirit says, if you seek you shall find, ask and you shall receive. You asked and you received, and you were and because you were paying attention, because sometimes we receive and we don't know that we received, that we are answered,
Mhm.
but we don't see it or we don't hear it. So paying attention is
Yeah.
very important. That you got it, and you were able to navigate your life. Today you are living that life of purpose, and you're here to help others do same. That is all that our blue planet needs. That people get
That's it.
inspired and show the way to others to be the best version of themselves. So thank you so much for the work you're doing. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know our journey is never like just a straight path and then everything's so nice, it's so great or whatever. Some days we are stressed out, some days we don't feel like we want to get up, sometimes we don't feel like the day, or life throws a lot of things at us and we got to deal with it. So when you find yourself, maybe you're stressed or you find like you're overwhelmed, you have a lot, you're facing maybe some challenges, even now, now that you're living your purpose, what are the things that you do to get yourself back into alignment with your day or your plan for the week and things like that?
It's a really good question. There's a lot that I do. Um, One thing I have noticed about myself, though, is that as I started living more and more this new way in power and purpose, I started needing a lot less self care, a lot less of all the tools because it started coming more naturally to me. So the things that I do right now probably are still extensive to some people's thought patterns, but I do a lot of preventative. So I have a morning routine and a night routine, and then I have different things that I do throughout the day. My morning routine is all about meditation, greeting the day, creating the day. And what I mean by that is I wake up and I literally say, good morning, birds. Good morning, tree. Good morning, Victoria. I love you guys. I love me. Um, from there, I go straight into that first 20 minutes is so important. So the first 20 minutes of our waking, I should be more clear. So I either listen to something motivational or that's where I do a lot of journaling. I'm really big on handwriting journaling. It really delves it down to a different level and I get to really expose my subconscious.
Mm.
What I do is I just write for 3 pages or more, but at least 3 pages nonstop, whatever comes to my head. I don't judge it. I don't try to write. I just write. And that allows my inner self to have a voice, my subconscious, right? Um, so I either do one of those two things depending on what's going on and what I feel like the needs are. Then I stretch and do affirmations. I have certain stretches that go with certain affirmations based on a lot of Eastern theory, working with the chakras, working with the meridians. For instance, the yin and the yang. Most people are familiar with that. So the right side is the yang, the left side is the yin. So I coordinate that with giving. It's also giving and receiving, right? So this is what I'm giving and this is what I'm receiving. I'm giving to the earth to be transformed what I no longer want to receive, and I'm bringing in this new affirmation that I want to create in my world. So sometimes I'm literally, I mean, if my windows are open, my neighbors probably really think I'm nuts. I'm walking around like this, you know. I give and I receive, and you know, I'm just doing my affirmations. I haven't got brave enough where I'm doing that down the sidewalk. So, you know, pray for me if I ever get that brave, right? Just it's not that appropriate, I guess, right? So in moderation, you know, you gotta be respectful of your environment. So I do that when I'm taking care of my body, when I'm doing that. When I go and take a shower, literally, that is my cleansing and releasing spot. It's also my connection spot. So I'm visualizing, releasing all the negativity, all the energy that no longer serves me, all the attachments from other people, anything that's not my own. I'm bringing in my connection with God, my connection with the earth. And when I say God, there's a million names for this energy that's the creator. I'm open to all of it, and I don't have one specific tradition I work in. But that's my morning routine. I have an app on my phone called the Mindfulness Bell that I use throughout the day to check in, depending on what my needs are. When I first started using it, it was literally like, hey, how am I feeling? You know, just to get me in touch with that. Mindfulness, literally, okay, so what's going on? Okay, I'm feeling the chair. I'm feeling myself sitting here talking to you. I also use it for affirmations and sometimes breathe, because I'm really big on breath. You know, I want to make sure I breathe throughout the day. And then I have my PM routine at a certain time. All electronics are off, including my TV. I don't watch much of that, but my phone. And that's my time to read, write, just connect with myself, connect with my fur babies, to connect with, just to regroup, get ready for that next step of sleep, rejuvenation. So I really use those tools most, you know, the meditation, the writing, the listening to different recordings, different motivation speakers, learning something. I make sure I learn every day. Every day I want to learn something new about myself, about my life, about the world. All three different components. And when I say about the world, I don't want to, I mean, I do keep up with the news and stuff, but that's not the kind of world learning I want. In that time, my hour of learning, I'm bringing in other things. This is where I'm studying different aspects of whatever intrigues me. You know, I love research. So it'll be, you know, a lot about neuroscience or quantum physics or psychology or spirituality and the different dimensions and how other people are phrasing that. And
yeah, that's beautiful, because being open-minded, I think is the best way, because whatever you're learning, you still like take time to understand, not only to understand but also um to ask yourself questions, because it doesn't mean that everything this you read, you just believe that that's what it is. But you know, as you're doing more research, you're thinking, and then you're thinking through it. You do your own, you have your own critical thought about, you know, your core values and things like that, and that is what you take with you. So which is great, because it strengthens your brain muscle and everything. So, and that's the best. We are all normally, if we all could really understand that we are life learners. Yeah, just you learn until the day you leave. So, and
right.
that's all what life is about. Yeah, yeah. So, what advice would you give to your 21-year-old self?
To my 21-year-old self, just trust yourself and know that God's got your back. The universe has your back. You're surrounded. and trust your own perceptions, trust your beliefs, because what's really there is there. Sometimes it's about our lessons and it's about ourselves to learn those lessons, but it's not about the meaning we think it is. My 21-year-old self was recovering from a lot of trauma in her life. My 21-year-old self really believed it was her fault. And my 21-year-old self was trying to deny and figure out if she was crazy because she had this vision of her potential. So she felt she had to hide it. So my advice, just trust yourself. I know you're surrounded. I know it's going to be okay.
I love that. Yeah. Because many people, and I'm happy that you brought that up, because many people, we get to a certain age and we feel like a lot of things that are happening, we blame ourselves, we beat ourselves up and things like that. But we also have to learn to let go, to forgive ourselves, and to know that life happens, you
Right.
know, right? And it's okay to fall. It's okay to make mistakes, because that is where we learn. If you don't, you don't do something wrong, you're not gonna learn a lesson. We're stretching ourselves up. So really bringing that up, it's great. So what what is your next big goal?
My next big goal is to create a virtual retreat. I want to create a space where people can bring all of this and more into their life, joining with other practitioners, where it's 3 to 4 hours a day, maybe even less, just so we can get our day set with being in power on purpose right there in everybody's home. From that'll be a 7-day retreat, and from that will be a longer retreat for those who just really want to recreate their lives and take that and move forward. So I'm so excited because it's just a way that I can really hopefully help a lot of people, because it'll open the door for cost effectiveness, for it to be a daily ritual and a daily reminder and a daily just, hey, here we are. And then later it won't be so daily. It'll be, maybe weekly or twice a week. But for that to be right there where it's so accessible. And when I say retreat, I'm not talking about just these like other challenges where you sit and listen to someone talk. I mean, we're going to be doing activities. We're going to be doing meditations together. I'm going to be teaching those stretches I was talking about before. We're going to bring it like as if you're going to a retreat to just regroup and rejuvenate yourself. So that's my next big goal. I don't know how it's going to happen yet, but it's going to happen.
That's a good thing about it. You have a vision.
That's right.
The excitement, the joy, the energy, you're sharing it with it. You're sharing with us. The universe sees it. So it's going to work things out and it's going to show you the way. You just know the first step and you keep going. You already have the idea. So, and I'm already sure you're putting a lot of things together already for that. So it's going to happen. And I think I'm going to be one of those to be on your retreat. So for that, for sure. Yes. Yes, for sure. So where can the listeners find you?
They can find me at InPower OnPurpose. That is my website.
Okay.
.com.
Okay. So go ahead.
And from there, they can also reach out via phone, email. I would love to talk to you all.
Thanks. So, on the description box of this episode, I'm going to have your information, like where they can contact you. I will have it on there. So those of you who have connected with Victoria, you feel aligned with whatever she shared here, you're still struggling about finding your purpose, or anything else that you would like to work on, she's very open. So make sure you contact her through the link I'm going to put on the description box. And that's, and start getting it going, because our world, we need more of us just coming together and enjoying our life and, sharing and making our world a better place tomorrow or today than it was yesterday. So get empowered, let it keep spreading so you can spread in your own world and be that inspiration in your own world. And let's keep making the difference. So I just want to say thank you so much, Victoria, for being here. Is there one last thing you want to share with the audience today? Or one last thing you want to leave with them?
One last thing, I just want to say, what you said right there is such the meat of it all, because I really believe in the domino effect. The more of us that can come together and be in our own in power on purpose, the more of us that can be alive, whatever that looks like, it invites others. And then from there, I envision a world without an us and them, without the ego plays, without the games, because we'll be so in our own space going, wow, okay, that's not what I want. Okay, let me come over here. So thank you for acknowledging that on the air. And that's what it's all about for me and as well. And thank you. I'm honored to be here. And I love what you do. Keep doing it because you are making a difference.
Thank you
We
so
all
much.
we all
Yes.
can and will.
Yes, definitely. And I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today, sharing from your heart and really pouring it out and not keeping it, showing your vulnerability, when you were vulnerable and things like that, and letting us know that we are humans and it's going to happen and we can still come out of it. And you are here as an example to show to the world that yes, it is possible. So I really appreciate you coming here and sharing this. And I'm so grateful and thankful that all of you out there, you get something out of this and be the best version of yourself. And let's keep living, have self-discovery and start creating, a better version of you. So thanks again, Victoria, for sharing with us. So we've come to the end of this episode. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for always supporting Inside Out Alignment. Take care and bye for now.